Hi, everyone. It's Andrew with The Market Mindset. We're speaking with Terry Lynch today about Save Canadian Mining, a movement to return market rules to the fair and transparent standards that help deliver prosperity for over 142 years. The timing right now is perfect for this as we see this critical demand for metals and minings and the role Canada can play, but also what's happening in the markets that's hindering our ability to finance and to make this green future work. So let's talk to Terry and find out why this is so integral and why it's so important right now. So lots to talk about, Terry. Good morning. How's it going?
That's great. Good to be here. And yeah, it's very exciting times, maybe finally for investors. Maybe we're going to get a fair shake here. It was great to see, obviously, I guess the biggest news was South Korea banning short selling until I think June or July of next year. That's a pretty serious move on their part. And as a country, obviously they're just killing it economically, right? They're doing a phenomenal job, much better job than we are here in Canada. So this is not you can't dismiss this as a policy move, and I think that's important because it's in my mind, and what's important is that they talk about the international investment banks that they feel are manipulating their market, and that it was so severe that they stopped it and they're investigating it with a view to putting these guys in jail. And that's the right approach, and shows you how serious they are. And it's an impressive country. I was there in March at a battery conference, and they have no inherent natural resources like Canada does, yet they've built this amazing economy based on sheer will and determination and ingenuity and a plan. And it just makes my blood boil to think of all we've got here, and we're on the greatest mining opportunity of all time, and we can't get out of our own way.
Yes.
And generally speaking, I think the number one culprit without question is the regulatory action in our markets.
Okay, let's take a little bit of a step back for my subscribers who are newer to this. And this isn't something light or small, because when you're talking about having transparent markets, if the trust breaks down and if people see that, well, I don't even want to be in this market because it seems manipulated, that means financing stops. That means the market starts falling apart. People exit that market entirely, either go private or they go elsewhere. So it isn't a small thing when you're seeing these patterns over time happen, and you can point to it in a market. So let me ask you your position, because it's not just short selling a stock. It's specifically naked short selling. And maybe let me know what specifically, as far as Canada is the goal here.
Yeah. So again, we started an organization called Save Canadian Mining, and its fundamental premise was to stop predatory short selling. So how do we define predatory short selling? Well, predatory short selling is when you sell a stock and you market long, but you're not ever intending to deliver that stock. You don't have the stock in you have no borrow. You don't have the stock in your portfolio. You're just assuming that at some point in the future, the stock will be driven down by your actions and the actions of your cohorts. And at some point you'll cover and make a profit, or better yet, which is their biggest plan, is that you'll go bankrupt and they never have to cover. And then they make all the profit and never pay any tax. That's predatory short selling.
And sometimes, not to get into the weeds too much, because a lot of people won't be that interested, sometimes it's like this settlement arbitrage between markets that people could kind of get away and tell their broker, I have the shares, but they're in Frankfurt or they're being held somewhere else. It'll take 2-3 days to get it, but just put the trade on. That's
and honestly, it's not an individual situation. The individual problem is being well policed, I believe, because I think it's individually very hard to short stocks in Canada, naked short them.
Yeah.
I think it's all institutional. It's going through pipe to pipe. These are people that have access to the bank pipes that allow them to do algorithmic trading. Mm-hmm. And these robots are out there with their predispositions on what their outlook on the market or on stocks and how they want to deal, and they're pounding stock down. And that's what's happening. It's not individuals, and that's why most people don't believe this. Most people say, I don't believe that can happen. And they're right for individuals. The individual brokers, I talk to brokers, they say, no, we can't do that. Guy, it's not about you. It's about your bank department that rents pipe to hedge funds that are offshore, Russian, Chinese, etc., that just go and they have been hammering our markets, and they've been doing it for years, like since 2012 in a big way. So it's not a new problem, and it's just now exacerbated to the point where the TSXV is at an all-time low, other than the pandemic for a short burst. And yet commodity markets are arguably at within 15% of an all-time high.
Yes.
So it's clearly not a cyclical issue here. This is a structural issue. Until we wake up as a country and deal with it, we're in deep, deep trouble.
And because I would look at it myself and think, why is this? What is the holdup here? What are we being stalled on? Whenever people can see that Canada is such a resource country, we see the States is very interested in looking at us to try to work with us. But at the same time, you're like, when's the money going to flow in? And a lot of times, a fund would go, well, look what happens. I mean, look, you get beaten down, and
I mean, there's several layers of the pain here, right?
Yeah.
First, the metal funds have all but disappeared. I think maybe McKinsey's the last guy standing in Canada of any sort of size. 15 years ago, that wasn't the case. You could have gone around, there would have been like, probably 10 significant funds that you could talk to. Now there's maybe one. So, that's the problem. The individual people make individual decisions. So they look at stock charts and they see stocks going down and trending down. They see what they perceive to used to be good news, get great intercepts, new discoveries, significant investors coming on board, and stocks still going down. So there must be something I don't know. This is common sense, right? This is what investors are thinking, and as a result, they're staying away. And of course, the shorters are getting their way because it's exactly what the behavior they want, because they just hope to drive these guys ultimately into business. And we do know that mining is a risky business, so 95% of the time they're right. Because that's the nature of mining, is there's going to be a lot of failures before there's a few successes, but those few successes generate such enormous wealth for countries, for shareholders, for for the stakeholders, that it more than pays for it, the whole ecosystem. But we're not getting that. Ecosystem is broken now because we're not getting the exploration capital that these guys need to get to the stage to actually have a true discovery, to really move into the mainstream.
I mean, that's such a key problem too. And we see I think it's like 17 years between a discovery to a mine coming on board and being made and running. And if we're looking at the speed at which, just on the battery energy front, that if you want to find lithium, graphite, you name it, copper, so you can't wait 17 years to bring a project on board for the demand that is happening incrementally, astronomically each year as we move forward.
Yeah, the old ways wouldn't work, and we're not even close to duplicating the old ways. It's much worse, so we're caught in it. But I don't want to be all doom and gloom, because I think frustration also breeds ingenuity and action.
Yeah.
And I think the industry is getting ready to take action. There's actually been some great breaks that we can sort of capitalize on as an industry. For example, the South Korean thing is something that we can build on politically. But even before that, about 4 weeks ago, maybe 5 or so, there was a very important case in New York where Harrington Global sued CIBC et al., CIBC World Markets et al., and they basically sued them for naked shorting and spoofing. And the main crux of that case was who's responsible. CIBC was saying, we're just a gateway. It's not us that's doing this stuff. That's those guys, those clients that, they've rented this gateway, but we don't police that. That's up to them. Which seems absurd. And eventually the court, after several millions of dollars in legal fees, could have only been, hats off to Harrington Global having the guts to go through this, to basically win that case. So now the broker is responsible. Okay, so now so that's the first wave. Now they'll be going forward for damages, etc. We'll see where it goes. But now, for the first time in history, you can actually go and sue these guys. And what's interesting, because remember how these people trade. So when they're shorting through numbered companies. They put up, whatever they have to in order to short, 2 times the value of the stock, whatever. But many times, if they come in and tried to cover a short on power nickel, they tried to cover the power nickel short, which I think is there. It's going to cost them 10 times what they've got. So it's like their 2 times is gone. So how would my shareholders recoup the other 8?
Yeah.
Well, it's called go to see Mr. Broker, who's now responsible. So that's a new change. So this litigation opportunity is now available to all of us, and that's one of the things we're going to be examining very closely in the future to gear up because we're tired of being doormats here, man. It's time for these guys to pay for their bad actions, their greedy behavior. They must pay. And the other thing we're going to do is it's time to wake the governments up, because they're doing a terrible job of overseeing these regulators. Okay, our regulators have failed, period. Okay, there's just no way around it. Can't sugarcoat it. You know, I'm not saying they're dishonest people. I'm just saying that they've been gamed by these nefarious shorters who are making so much money they can hire the smartest guys in the world. So they figured all the gaming tactics.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. So but we have to hold their feet to the fire. The government's doing a bad job. Bad government should be replaced. So wake up, or you're going to get tossed out. And our people are tired of losing their money. They're tired of losing their jobs. We want to build our communities. It's time for action.
No, I love it. And it is a tougher conversation because going after a retail client, or say a wealthy individual who happened to be working with a broker specifically, easy to target, easy to find out, no problem. You could sort that out, and that the regulators go, oh, easy. But if it's we have to go into XYZ Canadian bank or HS whatever bank, that is more intensive of like, ooh, we're taking this one on, we're going to challenge them, and that becomes a bit more scary, I guess.
And in fact, self-regulatory, and that's what we have here, self-regulatory. So we have ex-bankers policing banks. That is a recipe for disaster. Okay, I'm telling you right now, if they're going to keep that system, they have to have an ombudsman for actually the investors and companies. And this ombudsman needs to be able to have superpower to force independent audits to make sure these guys do their job. And because that might be the best of both worlds. We need somebody who's independent and powerful and can force action and make them do the work they do, because generally speaking, they're being gamed, and it's not working.
And that's, at the end of the day, people want to feel like things are transparent there. And especially with the way things are today in general, they don't want to feel like this is rigged against me. Like it's another thing. We need to restore some honesty, integrity to markets, to everything, especially in a time that's so chaotic, with markets chaotic, socials chaotic, politics are chaotic. It doesn't help, to say the least.
Yes, for sure. I mean, and so those are those fear things that generally keeps investors on the sidelines. That somewhat plays into the hands of the shorts. And I think the other message that we need to give as a media and as companies is that, hey, all is not lost. In fact, you may be on the verge of the greatest, investment opportunities of your lifetime. Like, this is beyond a normal cycle where you can get in the low and ride it to the high, and that's a great trade in mining. We're there now. I'm talking about a once in a 200-year opportunity, because of the savageness of the short behavior and how destroyed these markets are. You can find great companies. I'm talking great companies that 10x will be low. There'll be 30x's and 50x's and 100x's, which will be transformational even for small investors. So there is great hope out there. And I would say to people, do not lose that perspective. There is fear has been pounding the way at you and psychologically wearing you down. But where there's fear, there's opportunity. And that's what the really rich people have recognized. And that's what the sound investors and, the big pocket guys are starting to make investments now. You can see that if you actually look at some of the junior mining space, you'll find some of the bigger names in mining writing checks. Well, this is like a flash of, hey guys, now is the time. Because I really do think there's an opportunity to turn this around. And we have to come together as investors, as companies, demand action from our governments, demand them to enforce the regulators to do something to stop, letting this destructive behavior go on. But I think that everyone's so pissed off, both investors and companies. I think that we can finally galvanize here and get people to wake up and do something. And if they do, then the boom will be on. And my God, it'll be spectacular.
And even for just mom and pop retail investors sitting at home, they can go to savecanadianmining.com. They can see a lot of the partners, a lot of big names that are on board. They're right there on the front page of the website. And they could also, they could jump on Twitter, message their MP. They could pick up a phone call someone, leave a message, send an email. There's lots of things that just someone goes, well, who am I? Like, listen, enough people that send in messages.
It's all about that, and that's one of the things we'll be doing the next few days. We're going to be putting out another a big update piece on Safe Canadian Mining, where we're going to talk about where we're at, but we're also going to talk about where we can get, and the opportunity and how we can all help. And I think it's going to be a really important call for action. And I think it'll be a hopeful call. And I think it's something that we could all sort of get together on, and companies and investors, and force the government's hands. Because, I've lobbied with these guys, with the governments, okay? And, given them research and, lobbied with them and done all the right lobby. I've never lobbied before in my life. So, we hired people, did it the right way, theoretically. And we got audiences, and they were nice enough to meet with us, blah, blah, blah. And they smiled at us and said, yeah, that's very important stuff. We're going to do something. They did nothing. Okay. They did nothing. Probably in their mind, it's too complicated an issue, or it's too scary, too big an issue to deal with. So they only understand two things, government: pain and pleasure. Okay. So the pain here is, you guys are doing a crap job. We're going to call them out and say, hey, do your job, or let's get somebody else in there to do your job. That's where it's at. Mining in Canada, this is like our birthright.
Yes.
God gave us, this enormous resource, and we're squandering it. And this, we've had generations of great Canadian mining stories with, obviously it starts with people that are, experts at finance and experts at geology and geophysics and then production. All these are skill sets that need to be passed on. Okay, you miss a generation and it's gone. And then all of a sudden we're just another country. And then you're seeing all these other countries coming in here. Australia, look at those guys. They're taking over. And you know what? As a capitalist, I got to say, hey, hats off to them. They're doing it the right way. We need to wake up, man. So it's like, I'm not saying bar the Australians or bar anybody else, but I'm saying, and I see Teck selling their business, to Glencore. I mean, it's just one sale after another. I mean, is there going to be anybody left? You know what I mean? And it's like, it's just heartbreaking to see, and not good for us in the short term, and definitely not good for us in the long term.
Well, I'm looking forward to catching up with you again, because you said you've got some news coming out with some kind of goals and stated goals. We're excited to get this out because it is instrumental. It is very, very important. Even if someone thinks, well, I might have to watch this video twice to understand what we're getting at, but it is crucial today. And now is the time, because we are sitting at this crux where Canada can be a true leader in energy again, in a different way, other type of drilling. So
yes,
so I look forward to catching up with you again, Terry. And I really appreciate you taking your time out of your busy day to talk to us about this important Save Canadian Mining site. And we'll follow up real soon.
Okay, Andrew, thanks. Have a great day. Appreciate your support. Cheers.
Cheers.